not be the same. Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
Wow, guys. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Shanghai20 at YouTube.com, also simultaneously broadcasting and streaming on Twitch at the same time because I am sometimes that damn cool. This is Bolo Strikes Back, and we just finished watching The Suicide Squad, and honestly, I didn't kind of want to, like he said he didn't want to come into it like balls of fury or whatever. We're turning off the music because honestly, this is honestly a real discussion about how fucking disappointed I am in this movie.
Well, yeah.
I'm shocked, honestly, because I'm a person that really dug the first Suicide Squad movie, and I appreciated almost even their approach to it because I was actually a person that actually liked the movie. But this one is so incoherent. Not only is it incoherent, but the characters themselves. Amanda Waller is shocking how they gave no fucks about Amanda Waller's character anymore.
But the thing is that,
at all anymore.
No. The thing is that James Gunn, I can't think of the exact word for it, but he's essentially he undercuts everything that he does. That's kind of
it feels so undercut. But it almost feels mean spirited, like he did this on purpose for some reason. Sylvester Stallone is fucking King Shark.
But I mean, they pretty much play.
They try to do Groot.
Yeah.
They try to find some kind of Groot character for this shit.
Yeah, they essentially treated Suicide Squad like they treated Guardians of the Galaxy.
Exactly. And honestly, guys, if you don't know, I'm sorry to make it, but like the Guardians of the Galaxy that you guys watch in the movies are nothing like the real Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
He took a team that was completely bullshit besides Rocket Raccoon. He's basically who Rocket Raccoon is in the comics. But they overhauled the entire cast of that to make this slapsticky ass shit.
Just entertaining.
I never thought it was entertaining.
Well, I mean, in the sense that, look, if you had no sort of attachment to any of those characters, you can watch the actors just kind of being the actors and be like, okay, yeah, I like Chris Pratt. I like Dave Bautista. I'm just saying, people like them, and they're allowed to the actors fill the roles of those characters.
Yeah.
Right? Now, to me, what's sort of magical about Suicide Squad is the fact that people can die, but the what makes it work is that they'll take characters that nobody really cares, but then they'll make you sort of care about them in some way.
I think the only character that pulled that off was the Polka Dot Man.
Pretty much. And
it almost felt like by design,
but
too. It wasn't natural that other people would have gravitated towards character because this or that.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just because they made it focus on him being the person that you wanted to like.
Exactly.
You can tell.
Well, that was what was good about Suicide Squad in the comics was that they'll take these characters that you don't care about, but then you'll spend almost 24 issues with Captain Boomerang, you'll spend all these time with these people, and then like when people start to die, it isn't like, oh, they just ran it. Like, you know, it's not that undercut of, oh, the audience expectation, you know, where it's almost like the horror movie trope where, like, okay, if there's going to be a long-standing shot of someone having their moment, you know they're going to die right after. Like
it almost felt like set up for that
exactly,
shit.
like where the Suicide Squad characters, it's the Dirty Dozen. Like, when you
they
watch
didn't care, like, who died, but it's, like, in the act of doing something.
But not just that, but the the cast of the Dirty Dozen dies at the end of the movie trying to complete the mission. And like every death of the Dirty Dozen, you feel even
like
Tony
Savalas, even like the Seven Samurais. That's like a newer version.
And like, you know, and like you feel every death in the sense that like it is either part of some character growth or regression or something.
This movie had none of it.
It had none of it. And like
not only that, but like the characters, like particularly the beginning scene. The only thing I found clever about from the first squad to the second squad is the fact that. Like,
there's two squads.
But there's two squads, and they let almost the whole other team die.
Yeah.
But even to the point where it implies that Amanda Waller threw Rick Flag in the dirt.
But strategically, it didn't make any sense.
No sense.
Because it's just like,
and apparently he never told. Rick Flag was never told about any kind of contingency plan after the fact,
and like that.
So she expected him to die on the beach.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid, and it's also kind of like, okay.
And apparently Flag was in the organization. He was no longer your Flag, we got your girlfriend. Yeah, he's working for Waller.
Yeah,
she put him in complete harm's way.
Yeah, well, like not just that, but like, you know, it doesn't make sense even for her because like Rick Flag is the guy that kind of keeps make sure everybody stays on mission.
And not only that, but to send him to go find him, and by not saying those are freedom fighters, don't murder everybody there.
Again, it's played for laughs. It's purely played for laughs.
And don't you feel that joke was played multiple times?
Well, that's the whole movie. Like, and the whole movie is just like.
Do you want to go? Wait, let's establish something. Do you want to go into like? Do you want to go storyline wise, or do you just want to talk about it?
I mean, I think we could talk because there's not much story.
It's not.
I mean, they literally they get on the island, then the mission goes awry, and then they for some reason decide to try and save Harley. They don't need to save Harley.
I think the worst part about it is even the lack of communication between the team and that. Like, honestly, the whole thing with Amanda Waller and her organization is almost like Iron Boot like shit. Well, there's people in this movie that are underneath Amanda Waller who actually never get introduced or named or anything. These are just underlings underneath her.
Yeah.
Like, if you guys watch the first Suicide Squad movie, she kills every underling under her just because they were in they knew too much.
But like, I mean, because like it's essentially like Cabin in the Woods. That's essentially what it is. Where it's an organization that's sort of doing things. It's essentially The Office or any sort of modern sitcom that you want, where it's a workplace. But oh yeah, we're doing this great like. You know, but we're zany employees.
They're taking like polls on who would die in the Suicide Squad. Amanda Waller would have got them dudes fired or killed or shot and fired then killed.
Exactly. Well, there's no level of sort of seriousness that allows you to take the danger
off the rip. You automatically feel like this is a shoddy organization. This is a clandestine organization, and all the workers are like taking bets with money on who was gonna die first. And
again,
shit.
like, you know, James Gunn makes movies that doesn't take anything serious.
I don't like that. I
think it's to me it's just the wrong director on the wrong material.
Okay.
Like, you know, like so, he can make that type of movie, you know, in the DC universe, but like, you know what like the context of that work if he made a movie about the goons.
The goons,
like it literally just like the guys that have to work for Joker and Two-Face,
that would be interesting. We can talk about it. Let's go back to the Suicide Squad. First off, let's see who was the most underused. I would say King Shark.
I mean, I would say all of them, to be honest.
They all were, but King Shark was so underused. I mean, it was sad.
I mean, but yes, because
they not only dumbed down his character.
Well, it's like, and
they fucking made it what you call.
Well, I mean, all they really did was like, okay, well, he's gonna eat people, and then he eats like 2 people.
He
3
eats
people.
like 2 people.
But it's just like the same gag.
I was waiting for a king shark fight scene, like
Or
when he fell off the roof and they were shooting him. I was expecting him to go bloodlust and
and
go
kill
after
everybody.
everybody.
You
Like,
don't want that.
this is the time. This is the time we get to see King Shark like go full King Shark.
Yeah,
He's gonna be like ripping heads off and like running through, smashing dudes.
Yeah.
Like literally, a whole army was shooting him with AKs, and he was just like,
he wasn't doing it, and like. You'd hope, but no, that doesn't happen.
it doesn't happen, guys.
I mean,
you're not getting a good King Shark scene.
I mean, but like you're not getting a good nobody. Like none of the characters, whether either.
I think Harley Quinn came out the best.
Well,
she had a full blown fight scene.
Well, that's because it's Margot Robbie, and Margot Robbie has really taken taken the character of Harley Quinn and really kind of put it in her own sort of responsibility. Like, okay, no, we're doing this, and I think she might be a producer on the movie or whatever. So like,
I think she came off clean.
Well, I mean, because right now Harley Quinn is a bigger, more popular character.
But even if she wasn't a bigger, more popular character, if we looked at this movie in terms of who came out looking the cleanest, who came out looking the best in this, it's
Harley Quinn.
It's Harley Quinn and the Polka Dot Man. And the fact of the matter is, Harley Quinn wasn't gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
Polka Dot Man's gonna die.
Yeah.
You're just waiting for it. And okay, let's go through it. Like literally, guys, we're spoiler alert for you guys who don't really want to talk about it or know the things about it. At this point, we're gonna talk about stuff in the movie, and I'm gonna particularly talk about stuff that I really didn't like. Can I say I like this movie? Like, if for you guys right now, if you don't want to listen to anything we gotta say, or you want to watch it first, this is gonna be the part where we just tell you just quick little. Did you like it?
Not really.
Did I like it? No, I didn't like it. Would I recommend it for you guys to watch?
I think it depends on what type of movies you like.
Yes.
Because I think if you like, irreverent, that's the word I was looking for, irreverent movies that, are a little gory and you don't really have to think about much and, you really don't care about, sort of like the characters in the world that they're in, then it's fine. The movie's fine. Because it is just, all right, I can sit back and I can watch these people get, their heads blown up, people get eaten by the shark, people get torn apart. There's a lot of gore within the violence of the movie that, some people just enjoy that just for that. Like, me personally, that's not something, I don't mind it in the movie, but to me it also has to serve the movie in some context. And I never find, gore violence for gore violence sake is not something I've ever.
I don't mind gore violence at all, particularly in a superhero movie. It's definitely a different look to it.
I mean, I don't mind it, but to me, like, it has to serve a different purpose, different purpose outside of just the humor or the spectacle.
The shock
of it.
value of
it.
Like
that. I don't like gore
because
violence.
I think honestly, I think every King Shark kill was just for that.
Yeah, no, I mean like everybody's essentially death was that. Like everybody's like you see.
Well, let's talk about it in the first scene, in the first team one where you guys been seeing most of the promo footage, which honestly I kind of felt that's what was going to happen because that was so much of what the people were getting shown.
Like I mean, like I was hoping that if they're going to do it smart, like you can kill 1 or 2 characters in a rip if you want to try and show the stakes. But to me, that's like no, that's a mistake. Like you don't kill a character up front, unless it's like Steven Seagal and fucking Executive Decision where it's like. Oh, the main guy, the action hero, you kill him, then you're like, okay, that's a different sort of context.
Yeah.
A movie like this is like, no, you have to develop whatever your characters are, and then you have to start killing them.
Yeah, because like even the introduction of John Cena was like they turn a corner and they're all in the same prison, and he's just like, because I'm better than you, and then. Off we go. Yeah. This movie tried to be very quick with everything. It felt very like even from the beginning, it's like, oh, you're part of the team. Walk outside. Now we're walking side by side.
Yeah, there was like 3 or 4 of those.
There's like 3 or 4 of those, and I'm like...
And things that just kind of don't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
Like with the rain, it's like, okay, people can't see in the rain now? Like,
but it was worse than that because it was like bright white. Like we have these white lights behind us that's making, the light. But it was so bright in some of those scenes that I guess I felt like somebody had like a plan to do it. Like somebody's power
it seemed
was
like
to
somebody,
like do it.
Yeah, it was very ethereal, and like, you know, even the fight scene with Harley Quinn, where it's like, okay, I'm guessing this is her imagination
With the flowers and stuff.
and
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, I guess that's fine, but like, you know, this isn't a movie.
Visually, it looked cool.
No, it was a visually stunning. I mean, I think James Gunn is the guy who just got told him. Like, he doesn't make necessarily bad movies. I just think it was like for the context of, you know, how I think a Suicide Squad movie should really go, with specifically within the context of, you know, a greater DC universe. It's totally fucked up. Like, they totally fucked that part up. Because, like, I mean, another perfect example is just the character design of the mastermind dude with the fucking things in his head, right? They never really established, like, okay, what do those do? Like, why
they never established that he could do anything.
Like, okay, it makes it smarter because, like, literally they just.
Because I felt like he was gonna be like mind control anything.
Well, I thought it would at least be something like when they just, you know, started to take him within the bar. Like, you'd see, like, the lights doing, and then he'd, like, outsmart them or do something.
Yeah, he didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything. Like, there was no point, and, like, it was just like, okay, it's a crazy zany costume, but, like, there's no, like, the flip side of that was the shit that's actually weird even for DC, they're just like, yeah. It's like, when, like, Starro comes, that's not something that's like, oh, you know, yeah, we just have a kaiju thing. It's like, no, wait, no, Starro's here?
Yeah, he said we have a kaiju battle situation.
No, it's like, no, we have to call the Justice League. No, seriously. Like, the Justice League's not available? Who else is available? Because it's fucking Starro.
I was expecting somebody to show up. I was expecting Superman to show up.
And if it's a Starro that people don't know, then Starro is taking over that part of the world.
Because I was expecting it to be like, at the end, like, Superman comes and, like, punches him into space.
Yeah.
And, like, literally, the Suicide Squad goes, okay, we're done. No, and, like, the end of the movie is them walking away as, like, a giant battle. So, I would have been okay with them walking away from a giant Superman-Starro battle.
That would have been the correct answer. I wouldn't even say correct, but that would have been
a better answer.
Because, like, the thing about the Suicide Squad is that they are the bad guy. So if Waller's like, yo, okay, you destroyed the evidence, okay, fine, I don't give a fuck about what happens. These villains are gonna be like, okay, great, we get.
I actually thought that was kind of funny, but like, really stupid. When she was like, you did it.
Like it was
destroyed the building, but then
dumb.
You can go. You can't. Waller, you said destroy every trace of Project Starro.
Yeah,
that's the giant starfish,
and it's.
And not to mention that as soon as he turns around, it's like you're insubordinate. You don't even know what he did. But you just turn around, and it's like, Amanda, he's turned around.
Again,
kill him.
And like her reaction in that moment.
Oh my God! Did you see the spit coming on the side of her mouth? Amanda Waller was never that unhinged.
Yeah.
They literally hit Amanda Waller. She's gonna blow up the Suicide Squad. They hit Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
She is one of the most feared non-metahuman persons in DCU. You don't fuck with Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
And the fact that they kept doing the things they did with her character in this movie was so out of place.
Yeah.
She's like doing golf. And and she has like subordinates talking back to her. Yeah. She's like making decisions. Yeah. And she go, do it! Like, Amanda Waller will have you fucking killed, bro. Well, you're not fucking with Amanda Waller.
But not just that, like, her presence and authority
is huge.
Carries so much weight, and just her being in a room, it's like, no, you don't.
Guys, look up Amanda Waller versus Batman. She has enough stature and enough shit against anybody else. Does she look at Batman like, fuck you, bro?
Well, no, she says, look, rich boy. Like, she just
like, I know you, B.
Yeah, so
I have the secrets. And in this movie, she seems so out of control.
Well, I mean, again, it's because they're not playing it Amanda Waller. They're playing it as a trope, as the authoritative person.
So what did you think of Idris Elba?
I mean, I like Idris Elba.
I like Idris Elba too. I mean, but do I like him as his Bloodsport character?
Well, I mean, honestly, to me, Idris Elba, his character and how they sort of characterize him. He was actually what Deadshot.
That's what they were trying to do, and that's
like,
what it felt like to me. Like they were trying to get Deadshot back in, but do it like even to the point with his daughter. But see, even the thing is, I like Deadshot's better because Batman was there. Batman beat up. He was like, "Yo, don't shoot him, Daddy."
What I'm saying is that like. The only issue I have with Will Smith as Deadshot is that Deadshot is one suicidal and nihilistic, right? So he does care about his daughter, but only so much. He cares enough to be like not to be in her life because like, look, I'm a piece of shit. I'm like me being in your life is literally just gonna fuck up your life.
Bloodsport's not like that. They don't even show anything.
I don't know, but like what I'm saying is that like, you know, the way Idris Elba played it was that he kind of didn't give a shit about anything. Like you just like fine, whatever. Like okay, you're gonna blackmail me with my daughter. Yes, like that would work in no matter what because he's not a total monster.
He's not a monster,
but
because he was at point he's like, yo, I told you not to be fucking around me.
Yeah,
like I told your mother, like told you bring out the paternity.
To me, all that and the way he sort of played it, that is closer to what the character of Deadshot is in the way Will Smith, because Will Smith. You know, just played it as Will Smith with Will Smith's charisma and like, oh no, we're going to do the good thing. Yeah, exactly. Which again, it's just like, all right, fine.
That's my favorite scene of that movie.
You know, it's Will Smith, and it's like again, charismatic motherfucker. You forget it for him because it's Will Smith.
Well, let's move on. After basically the squad is put together with Michael Rooker. And Weasel and a stupid Swedish dude with a spear.
Well, I think the other thing that was really sort of stupid about it was that
you can feel that whole team.
Well, not just that, but like you know, there was no real rhyme or reason why these particular characters were brought together.
Usually the Suicide Squad were picked for certain reasons.
Exactly.
Like there was no reason for King Shark to be in it. They never, at any point in this movie, if you guys are fans of King Shark, maybe if you watch The Flash, the show, King Shark was amazing in that. That was my King Shark. He's big, he's intelligent, he uses powers right. This is like Groot with
Shark.
teeth.
Yeah. It's just Sly Stallone just being...
And Sly Stallone hoping, I guess, that he can replicate what they did with fucking Vin Diesel. Yeah. And it didn't work. They gave him no material. There's no reason to like him.
Well, we'll see, because, you know, apparently these are getting good reviews. So
and God help me. God help me.
Like,
the one DC movie I fucking hate, or I don't like, and it's fucking gonna do well, when all the movies I like did nothing, and everyone hates them. And I'm gonna be talking to people, and they're gonna go, yeah, the Suicide Squad was really good. And I'm gonna go, But anyway, I digress. When after they get to the island, the team basically dies almost on contact. And Michael Rooker, this cool dude who's fucking throwing balls at birds because he's a tough motherfucker, runs away in the ocean and dies with his head exploding in the ocean. Honestly, I like that idea of like this twist. Like, okay, we're starting with these group of characters that you think are the main characters, and then they get murdered immediately.
Yeah, like
you can feel from if you guys have watched the commercials and the things, they all feel like that. As soon as you see Michael Rooker, he doesn't even feel like he's really there.
I mean, like
it never felt like Michael Rooker was actually a character.
Well, because he wasn't. Like we got no characterization from any of those characters that died.
Weasel, they drop in the water from a helicopter, and Weasel jumps in the water and instantly drowns. And everyone's like, you didn't check that the Weasel couldn't swim? I mean, like, and it's like Amanda Waller doesn't make that mistake.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, the only thing that we really get from, you know, the characterization of everybody is that everybody's just a fuck up. Like, that's it. Like, you know,
they said Weasel killed 27 children, and that's why we care about Weasel.
I mean, well, not just that, but they like fucking Bloodsport.
Yeah, like Idris Elba's character.
Yeah, like he's in jail because he shot
Superman with the kryptonite bullet.
Which is
I think that's the cheapest thing to make him such like a cool character.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, he's
it's
cool
like,
because he almost killed Superman because he had a kryptonite bullet.
But I mean, it's also just like, wait, you're just gonna like drop that, and like especially
it's just like they dropped. Not only that, but literally all her lackeys are like. Yeah. who the fuck is Bloodsport?
But-
This big fat doofy dude
like-
with glasses
but, like-
and a fucking.
But within the context of their universe, it's like, wait, but Superman's only been Superman for 18 months, and then he died. And so, like, when did he get the chance? And right now, we only know one source of kryptonite, and Batman stole it and used it all to make grenades. The only piece of kryptonite that's left is the kryptonite
That
spear.
stabbed him in the
Exactly, which is right now.
Which they could say, you could say, because no one knows that. Well, in canon of the movies, no one's claimed where it is.
Fair enough, but
So
it's also
maybe he could've.
so you're telling me there's a movie where either him or someone else broke into Star Labs in that military place, got a chunk of kryptonite, fashioned it into a bullet, and he, for whoever reason, or just his own personal, like, you know what?
It's just
like, there's a whole story behind.
there's
that.
a whole story behind.
So it's kind of like
that could have been a
and, like,
movie
on itself.
in itself.
And that's what I was saying before, is that, like, this movie, like, if this movie was made 5 years from now after we had a slew of DC movies, then it's like, okay, fine, you can fill in these
Starro
gaps.
should absolutely.
But-
We'll talk about Starro when we appears in the story, but it's super disappointing.
Well, because
I love the prosthetics though.
Well, like
that looked amazing.
Well, I mean,
that's the only thing, guys. The only enjoyment I got of it was like maybe 2 or 3 scenes where you actually got to see Starro be Starro,
but that's
and do like real
but
Starro
that's what
shit.
also disappoints me.
Because it freaked me out, and when I felt it, I was like, ooh, like I got kind of creeped
but that's
out.
that's what kind of disappoints me, because like I think the tone of how before he breaks out, the tone of Starro was almost perfect.
It was perfect.
Where it is just like, no, it's Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It's that coupled with Aliens.
Except that, like, in the comics, and I'm pretty sure in the cartoons, they didn't kill. You didn't die if you took it off.
Yeah,
they changed it up a little bit because Starro, like, again, reproduced itself, and like there'd be little starfish, and it would latch onto your face, and now you are basically a moving consciousness of Starro.
Right.
You could get it removed and be everything else.
But you have to you pretty much have to sort of defeat Starro or get him distracted to get the.
Because not only that, but Starro is also a psychic. He has psionic and psychic abilities.
Well, his the little starfish gets sucked on, and like it takes over your brain. And you're literally just a meat puppet for him, and you're an extension for it.
And I even liked at the end when he said I was happier looking up at the stars.
Yeah, well,
because his character in canon doesn't really want to kill everybody. Well, he wanted to control his area.
Well, yeah, he's a conqueror. Well, he's more like a giant sentient animal that just is reproducing, and this is just kind of his reproduction cycle. And he's just like, you can't really my whole drive for survival is to fucking put these fucking starfish on your face so I can go and do what I need to do.
Yeah.
And there is a sort of consciousness by it, but it's not like a dark side or a mongrel where he wants to conquer.
It's not just out of ballast. Yeah, it's out of nature.
It's exactly. And to me it's almost like a wasted thing, because it's like, okay,
he's such a huge threat.
Exactly.
He could have been in anybody's movie. I mean, you could have had Starro versus Jason Momoa in the next fucking Aquaman, and it would have been crazy balls to the wall action how they did with the first one.
The thing is Starro is
a Justice League level event.
Because that
could have been a Justice League
the elements
movie
that you have with it, where you do have the people. So you have,
and Superman couldn't go all out because he doesn't want to hurt the people.
All the heroes, and then you have really good sort of.
Now it's like a soft kind of.
And then plus you are going you can lose members, and it's like.
And they come to their collective, and now Superman's got a Starro on his face. Yeah, now we got to move around from Starro Superman.
Yeah, how are we going to solve that problem? And
that's the dichotomy of a Starro story.
Right.
This is not that. No. They almost use Starro as
it's a joke.
As I wouldn't say the joke, but as a set piece.
Well, I mean,
they used him as a set piece because let's keep going because we could be here for a while. Again, they had a decoy team, and the other as Harley Quinn, Rick Flag, and the rest of those guys are getting mowed down. They show to the other side. It's Team B. It's got Idris Elba, John Cena. and fucking King Shark and Polka Dotted Man and shit.
And the rat catcher.
And the Rat Catcher, which honestly I don't like. The Rat Catcher 2. It's Rat Catcher 2 because her fucking coke addicted father and heroin addicted.
It was dope.
It was that heroin.
Smack.
She fucking loves her daddy who fucking like stole shit. I want to say her pops is like the sewer king and fucking
No, because the sewer king was like
he was a bad guy.
Well, not that he was a bad guy, but like he had conviction. When Batman reached out his hand and was like, "Yo, there's crocodiles down there,"
he let himself
and he's like, "Never." And you're like, yo, like, I know you
have conviction to let go.
Like, I know you're just a sewer man that steals orphans, and you train these orphans to steal wallets, and you just like threaten them, but like you were like, no, I am committed to this evil. I will not do anything good.
Oh my
and even if my evil is little, I will do it forever. And your goodness, fuck your goodness. You know why? I am a villain. But that's what I love about DC is that they have heroes and villains.
Yeah.
These are people who gain a power and they decide to use that power for their own selfish needs.
Yeah.
That's what's great about it. And it's just like, no. And like they can sort of, people can change or whatever if they want within the context of the stories. Mm-hmm. But it's like, no. I am a powerful person and I decide this is what I'm going to do with my power.
Yeah. And I mean, like, and that's the thing. We go on to this next part where it's basically a time waster. Like they get on the beach after this big distraction and then they go directly to sleep.
Well, it's not just that, but like it's a lot. It's also, to me, it's tropes of what an entertaining movie is these days.
They have the beats of this game in this movie. There's very generic beats. Like, okay, this is this guy's turn. This is this guy's turn.
Not just that, but it's like, okay, so they're trying to kidnap the brain dude because he's the one that can give him access to.
And apparently he said, "Oh, I can control Starro," but he definitely couldn't.
Well, but like not just that, but it's like, okay, so they go to the bar and they're like, "All right, well, what do we do? Well, let's just have some drinks," and then it's a slow motion commercial.
They're like dancing around.
Yeah, and
they're like, "Oh, we got 3 hours to wait for this brain guy."
We're having
they could have just waited where the brain guy came out of the office,
or you just write your script to not do that.
Yeah. They kidnap him on the road or anything. This movie felt like it felt very hard, like they're trying to be the bro kind of situation.
Well, yeah,
this is a bro.
They're trying to.
This is a bro moment.
They're trying to.
They had a bro moment.
Well, they're trying to show that the characters are having a good time, and vicariously.
It doesn't even make any sense because Idris Elba doesn't like. At one point, like, Idris Elba later on says that him and Rick Flag were friends. They never... I'm trying to think of scenes where they were actually in the bar. They're like this. And I'm like, you don't know this dude.
No, and like, why,
they never established... The only thing they established that Rick Flag vouched for him to be on it. But you're a fucking criminal.
But that also doesn't mean anything because, like... within the context of Suicide Squad, they're looking at everybody's file. I'm like, okay, who's qualified for this mission? Like, that's the whole point of it, is that, they're not supposed to be friends. Like, they don't like each other. They're forced to work together because their brains will fucking...
The animosity between, like, Rick Flag and Will Smith, that was a better antagonist relationship. In this, there was no antagonism, particularly between Rick Flag and Bloodsport.
Yeah, and
Rick Flag's whole character is completely different now.
Again, like, all of it's about showing the characters having a good time and vicariously the audience
will have a good time through that. And damn, now that you say it, it definitely felt like they were trying to drum up more around it because it felt very not good.
No,
like it felt very like, oh, you guys like this, we'll put this here, and then you guys like this. So if we put like, oh, you're getting drunk. And then, we got the dancing girls, and then we got a scene where polka dot man, every time he sees people, he sees people as his mother. So these big scenes where like he's standing around, and everyone around him looks like a little Jewish lady going
again,
it's going down for real.
Because I mean, even think about when they're going in to save Rick Flag, right? They go into that village, they kill everybody in that village, and it turns out, oh, these were the freedom fighters.
These were the good guys. They go to the village and kill all these innocent people.
Which is the punchline. But then there is zero repercussions.
Zero. Well, and it's well, she's the only one left. It seemed like.
Yeah. And not just that.
I like the fact that they never replenished with more fucking people because they wouldn't make sense.
Well, I mean, no, they did because when they
there was one guy.
No, when they go. And
yeah, right. There's four people.
Well.
When they came around the corner, it's like 50 people.
It's like, okay, I guess there were more people. But
I want to say there was a bunch of who cares moments in this movie where it's like,
I mean, it was a series of who cares moments. And because think about it, in the context of what these freedom fighters were, is that this is a country.
And again, guys, if you get confused, you a little, they were sent to the island. Basically, they're like, oh, there's a project, Starro, that we want you to destroy every piece of it, all information, everything about it. You go to this island, you kill them. When they dropped from the helicopter into the water and Weasel drowned and everything else, one of their teammates basically betrayed them to the government, and the government at the beach was just yakking them up. Nathan Fillion was fucking TPK, man. He fucking had his arms flopping around. It was hilarious, bro. That was the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
But what was actually disappointing about it was okay, he detaches his arms, they're floating, and then he's just slapping.
He's
people.
slapping. He's
and it's just okay, so you're not even going to attack,
you're not even gonna do what he actually would have done.
Well, anything,
because you know that character's a real goddamn character.
But it's just okay, he's not gonna go for the eyes. He's not
he did a comic slapping a poke, and he tried to slap a gun out of the guy's hand. And this is a wall of guys with guns. And I don't understand. Even him, he's standing out in the open now with no arms going. Oh.
And again, within a straight comedy movie, if this was a satire on superhero tropes, this would have been a funny scene. But it's
it almost feels like he tried to make it a satire.
Well, that's kind of what Guardians of the Galaxy is.
It's Guardians of the Galaxy is, and that's why I can't really dig Guardians of the Galaxy like that. But it seemed like he tried to make this almost a joke of it himself.
He did, 100%. That's what it was.
They have Mongol on that team, who is Mongol's daughter. If you guys don't know who Mongol is this extra planetary. He's almost Thanos for DC Universe.
So Mongol is the
leader of War World.
Yeah, War World, exactly.
It's a giant planet of death and destruction.
And he's a almost a Superman level strength of a character.
Yeah.
Again, another character that if he shows up, you either need Superman,
it has to
or
upgrade.
You need the Justice League, or you need a team of dudes to really deal with. Because that's how powerful he is.
Honestly,
and his daughter Mongol is of the same species and is just as powerful, just physically.
And
that's
she burns to death. She jumps on a helicopter, and I thought she was gonna pull the helicopter down. And it really just flings her around, and then she burns to death.
I mean, it really doesn't make sense because it's okay, if you really had Mongol on,
she's a mega level. Her skin can't be burned.
Well, it's one. How the fuck did you get Mongrel on your squad? How did you capture her, for one? Two, how did you insert that shit into her brain? The only way you're gonna get someone of that caliber in a Suicide Squad is you convince them to work with you for some reason.
And they didn't explain anything about why she was there. They didn't explain. They explained two characters. They explained Bloodsport.
Yeah, and the
Ratcatcher. Everyone else was just there.
Yeah.
They're there because we need them to be there.
Yeah.
And that is again, even in the first one, they at least explained to people why they were there. Yeah, they had their moments.
Well, people had
Harley Quinn. That moment was great with her and the Joker in the club and shit. Yeah, they even had the classic scene of driving a getaway car and Batman breaks the window.
For all the faults of the first one, at least you had some character motivations, and you at least had sort of conflicts within the character, even if there were sort of simple conflicts. that showed either character development or characterization of each person.
Yeah.
This one, it was just, you're just waiting for them to die. They really don't do anything different. Each one of them has one trick that they do over and over and over again.
And it seems like that what they did is don't worry about it.
Yeah, have a good
Margot
time.
Robbie, Idris Elba, they're gonna be fine.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're gonna be fine.
Pretty much. They do go out of their way.
Don't worry about it.
Because, I mean, Harley Quinn's in that first team, and somehow she's able to dodge
the only
bullets.
Rick Flag and Harley Quinn are the only ones that make it out of the first team as they drop onto the beach. And, like, literally, they surround her with guns and they don't kill her immediately, even though they kill everyone else.
And it also doesn't make sense because, like, both of them just run straight into the gunfire and, like, run closer to all the explosions. And then, they just stop.
They just made it.
And then, like, for some reason, the new leader of the Corte Maltese is like,
okay,
I loved you.
Let's go to the next part of this movie. After the whole part where they fucking get to the beach and everything else, when Harley Quinn is captured, she goes to the new president and says, "We love you here at Corte Maltese because you are anti-American sentiment in America. You are a hero to our people."
Yeah.
She's never been anti-American. She doesn't like the laws.
Well, I mean,
but she does not like.
But like none of it made any.
None of it
sense.
made any. It was so weird. She's
like,
in a hole getting wrapped up, and then there's like they throw her dress down a hole and say, "Here, wear this," and she's like, "I'm a princess."
But like it was also
it's like what the fuck?
Well, I mean, it's shit like, okay, you're gonna throw it down the hole, but she's tied up, so how the fuck is she gonna like? There are a lot of things where it's just like, okay,
and
she
meets the president.
Yeah.
He says, "I want to take you to dinner." They fuck, and then I want you to marry me in the same time period. He has a birdhouse, and he's taking her to see all the birds.
Yeah, and she says yes, and
she says yes, and then she fucking kills him. Well, I knew it was gonna happen. I knew he was gonna die.
But like, I mean, it was sort of dumb.
The only thing I liked about that is it shows that she is absolutely insane. Like, she shoots this dude dead in the chest, and has a monologue with herself about how I told myself if I was ever getting in a relationship again and I seen red flags, I would murder him immediately. Yeah. I laughed a little when I heard that.
I mean, like
that was kind of funny.
Like the scene in a vacuum is a great scene for Harley Quinn. Like if you actually built a context around that. Like
that was insane.
Like if it wasn't just some random president, and if it was like one of the other Suicide members that you've spent the movie seeing their relationship develop, and then it gets to that, and then he has that scene of like, oh, well, we can use Starro like this, and like we can use this to get our freedom. We can use like that, and like after that we can like just the whole villain thing. We can rule the world, and Harley Quinn shoots them for the betterment of herself, and also knowing that the guys that I tend to fall for are world class supervillain egomaniacs,
monsters in some way.
I am.
She's like, I don't pick good men, so
exactly.
It's better. She's like, you look better this way, dead on the floor. And like her dialogue in this scene was so fucking stark compared to anything else. And I like how they do they've been doing that with Harley Quinn since the first one when at the bar. And she's like, no, he fucking killed his kids and his family.
Yeah,
that's not poetic or anything. You fucking killed her. Own that shit. And Harley Quinn has those swing moments in her character.
I mean, and that's also what makes Harley Quinn sort of special because, she, in the hands of a good writer, they understand that she is a psychologist, so she can sort of get to the heart of, an emotional moment within, characters, but also still be completely damaged and crazy and insane.
Absolutely.
And wacky.
Absolutely. Right? And then honestly, that's why I keep saying the only person that came out clean was Harley Quinn.
Well, yeah.
She came out the best. Well, but she almost had the best scenes.
But it's not that she just came out clean, but this is her third movie. So you already know exactly what Harley is. So you're seeing Harley come from being completely infatuated. She's
almost come full circle on screen.
Well, I mean that's why I said within the context of Harley Quinn, that scene is good, but within the context of the movie, it's shit. Because that scene really shows her full maturation from being the Joker's woman to being emancipated and not fucking with them anymore in her own movie, and to this point where she recognizes like, no, this is a toxic person, that like the world is better without this type of person in it. Like that's a huge character growth from the first time you meet her in the first Suicide Squad.
It's true.
Where everybody else, this is the first time we're meeting them, and half the characters that you meet within 2 minutes they're fucking dead. And it's just like, again, like on itself is not necessarily an issue, but there's nothing. You feel nothing.
There's nothing to hold to. It's almost you're going to it to watch the slaughter.
Exactly.
And I don't do that for Suicide Squad.
Well, exactly.
A Suicide Squad, like a comic, is about you get these flawed, imperfect characters, but have this spark of the imagination that would make you want to watch more of them, and have these flaws as people, and sometimes as like demons or powerful deities. The Suicide Squad's had. If you guys haven't watched or read any of it, there's a lot of Suicide Squad material.
It's who's ever sort of available that's not within a current roster, almost. Like that's who's available to Suicide Squad. Yeah,
because there absolutely been heroes that been brung into Suicide Squad.
And it's a full spectrum of sort of DC histories. Like whoever the writer wants to put in.
The KGBs. Get the KGBs. Yeah. Get Orca. Get all these motherfuckers in there. Get them in here now. Get Killer Croc.
Exactly. It's
anybody we can lock down, kidnap, or blackmail.
It's C, B, and D level tier villains that the ones that will get a single issue that the superhero is just gonna like. It's going to be one hiccup.
Squash 'em.
Exactly. It's one hiccup, and it's like by the end of a single issue, they're done. Like Batman, Superman, Aquaman, whoever it is, they
cleaned them up.
They cleaned it up. They're in prison. How are we going to get them to work? And like that's sort of the magic of it, is that like you at least heard the story of who this villain really is, and now
watch him die.
Well, not even just die, but like you start to feel bad for him, because it is just like, oh shit, like Amanda Waller is forcing them to do this. Yeah. Like the villain in those. The villain
is Amanda Waller, and that's the thing about like even this movie. But you don't even feel her as a villain.
Well, but like the thing, but what's great about Suicide Squad, it is an inversion of everything, because Amanda Waller is the villain towards the main characters within the Suicide Squad, but the Suicide Squad characters are villains. So it's like you have technically a good person doing bad things to force bad people to do good things. Like
it's such a great dichotomy.
Exactly.
That's why those comics work. But this movie doesn't really do that.
Doesn't do it at all.
And like John Cena's character, let's get this out of the way. John Cena's character is fucking useless. Literally, it's useless. He was there to make jokes, and it's because it's John Cena.
It's not. It's not that he was useless. Is that you're right? He's there to be John Cena, and again, you can put John Cena in a DC movie and still have him, because to me,
we say he should have been.
He should have been fucking Shazam.
I still think Channing Tatum should have been Shazam, but that would have been a decent runner-up too, because he has this kid-like nature to him. And plus and the reason why I'd say John Cena is that look at the fucker. Like if you specifically in the context of Billy Batson, and you say you a 9, 10, 11-year-old boy have the power to transform yourself into the apex superhero that you want to be, that you're visualizing yourself to be. It's gonna be John.
It's gonna be John fucking Cena. And am I wrong?
I say Channing Tatum.
No, because Channing Tatum is still too small. I mean, at least
you're right, because he's a wrestler, so he's mask. He's got uber mask.
He looks like a fucking
he's got chum.
You don't have to put pads.
Yeah, I know. Him. Did you notice in his movies, his muscles were bulging?
That's what I'm saying.
The veins bulging.
Because usually you see one vein. This motherfucker had 8 veins on his bicep. He doesn't need any help. This motherfucker looks like a superhero without any help. Just take his shirt off and you'd be like, yeah, no.
I mean, his best lines are the ones that were in the commercials that I saw. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, the lines in the commercials were strategically placed in all these good places.
Yeah.
That ruin a lot. I would say.
I think because the thing is there wasn't much.
There wasn't much of a story.
There wasn't much to do in the story. So like everything that was in the trailers, that's all. That's
what
it.
I'm
It was
trying
just
to, like.
multiple.
It's hard for me to try to like put this into a narrative that I can kind of explain to you.
Well,
because things just like happen.
There is no narrative.
Things happen like after they get to the camp because Rick Flag got saved by the rebels after they dropped down. Like I said, Harley Quinn and Rick Flag were the only ones. Rick Flag got away and Harley Quinn got captured. Rick Flag is captured. Amanda Waller tells the Team B to get Rick Flag from these bad people, they said. In reality, it's the rebels that are fighting against the government to get a free democracy. So they're the good guys that save Rick Flag. But Amanda Waller doesn't tell them this. So then we get to have a cut scene or a fight, a murder scene.
Well, it's a comedic murder scene because it's Bloodsport and Peacemaker like one-upping each other's with their killing skills.
Their killing skills. He's pulling out Peacemaker's John Cena is pulling out a blow dart gun and these big, beautiful, elaborate like scenes because they did it all in one take. So they wanted to make this look really cool. I mean, one take, again, walking down the bus on top of the bus, and like all these people. He fucking shoots a bitch. She's fucking washing the dishes in a basin right through the fucking neck. Die. From the beginning, they pan in on two guards. The guard takes the other cup from and for the other guy's like, I'm gonna get you more coffee, and he's like, thank you. Like already these hints and that was the sad part about it. The trope felt tropey from the start. Well, I mean, I kept saying, I'm like, these are good guys.
Like, yeah, no,
I'm like, these are good guys. I said it immediately. Well, these are good guys.
I mean, because again, like, you know, the jokes that they made were the low hanging fruit.
I guess if you're dumb, you wouldn't get it. Like, I would like to see this with multiple people because I would want to see the reaction to that. Do they get it from the start or do they get the joke? I want to see if they pop. I want to see the pop because after they kill this large amount of people, King Shark eats a man and like throws up a finger at the end. But after this large murder fest, they get to the last tent, even though it's a murder fest, and these people are standing around, and either it's silent completely, or it makes no sense. Well, they're like standing in the open, killing people, and then like it pans to the side, and there's literally like 6 people standing there, I guess, watching the other people get murdered.
Again, these are NPCs within the context of,
I guess
what's happening. Because literally they set 2 people on fire. And no one else reacted to it. No one heard it. Well, not just that, but it's like the guys, the people don't scream. Like and again,
the people don't scream. They didn't scream.
And it's like
when they burned them.
Again, it's not like, oh, this is all about reality or anything.
They never even tried to. It didn't. To me, it didn't even feel like they were trying to stealth.
Yeah,
it felt like they were doing it.
Exactly. So it's just kind of like, okay, so are these people just not like paying attention, or like so to me, it takes you out of the actual movie because it's like okay, like what the fuck are we watching? Like, is this just a cartoon?
I turned around and looked at you at that point. I was like I didn't want to say anything because we're watching the movie, but I'm like, what's going on?
All it is, it was a murder cartoon. That's what the movie was.
And it's like,
and not in a really fun way. I mean, unless you enjoy like gore, like that was the only quote unquote like where they put their creativity was like, how can we eviscerate people? That was probably the most creative part of the whole movie.
I definitely feel like they made a concerted effort to make it more gory.
For sure.
Jai Courtney dies like
Captain Boomerang.
Captain Boomerang dies by getting like pelted with fucking tree shards.
Technically, he dies twice because he gets impaled by all them fucking shits, and then a
helicopter like smushes over him.
Well, no, because like it's the blades cut him up, and then he gets smushed, and then he gets burned. Like, so it's like he dies 4 times, I guess.
Like, I think, honestly, this was the goal. Okay, Jai Courtney, we're not going to use you anymore. We're not going to use you.
Which is a shame.
Rick Flag, we're not going to use you anymore.
Which, again, it's a shame because it's like, you know, Captain Boomerang was one of the better parts of Suicide Squad. and like is one of the better parts of the Suicide Squad because he like
dies in the Suicide Squad.
Like, but very, very late. Like Captain Boomerang is the one you think is always gonna die,
and that's why like, when he died, it was a shock to me because I was like, "You're gonna kill off Captain Boomerang now?" You put he put all these people in the A Squad that
and I get
with
that,
like Weasel
I get because I get the philosophy that you're playing.
You're
with
setting
audience,
up the expectations to drop him.
But again, at the same time, it's like, well, that's dumb. Well, like if you're gonna do that, and then replace him with another character.
Yeah, I was expecting more people
to
join onto the team,
but
it just decreased, and it started to go less and less nowhere.
Exactly, and the people that they're replacing with weren't sort of as entertaining as Captain Boomerang can be, because even within the comics, what's really cool about Captain Boomerang is that he is like a true villain, and like he portrays people he's that dude that'd be like, oh, word? You talk shit for me before? All right, well, we're on mission, and like
I might push you off the
exactly
side.
like, okay, I'm gonna lock you in this room with all the ninjas. Peace. And that person dies.
Yeah, because he's a true villain.
And Captain Boomerang survives, and then you're just like, huh? Okay, so now it's not just it's not just the mission itself, is that they're danger to each other, and like. The bad guy can win within the context of the story. Within the movie, the villains save the day, which is just like
it almost had a
okay.
B. What would you say? Is like a double B ending?
Kind of.
It wouldn't be a double. It wouldn't be an A+ ending.
I mean,
but it would be like on the B spectrum.
I mean, the ending just really pissed me off because I was just like,
even how it ended, and then they had like a little,
I saw it because I
don't want to get into that just yet, but
well, I mean, no, because there's nothing left.
Damn, there's nothing really to say.
After that, after you have the beach scene, you have the club scene, you have the jungle scene, and then
Starro gets,
and then Harley Quinn has that little fucking moment, and then
he gets the torture scene,
and then Starro gets out, and they're like, all right, well, you defeated everything, well then fuck it, we don't have to deal with it, you guys can leave, and then they decide, all right, let's be heroes for some reason, and it's just like I get it, oh, there are kids there, and it's like.
They kept bringing this up, this whole thing, there's kids, they did experiment on kids so we could kill these guys because they did that. And I'm like, but that's, I mean, but kids, I would kill people for kids if they did that.
But I mean, it's low-hanging fruit.
It is. And they made, you kept,
I mean,
they're killing kids! They're doing it to kids!
You should have just made them Nazis. Why waste the time of being like, oh, these are child killers? It's like, okay, just make them Nazis then. If you're trying to set up a situation where the audience is not going to have any remorse about the things that are going to happen to these people, stop wasting
Make them the worst. Make them Nazi vampires.
Or be more creative with
Make them Nazi vampire werewolves. Hybrids. Make them underworld.
Yeah. there's play and
put Kate Beckinsale in this shit.
And so at the end,
Kate Beckinsale in this movie?
Because she made her own movie
fuck that shit.
Called Volt, which was actually not bad.
Fuck Kate Beckinsale. Anyway,
why fuck Kate Beckinsale?
I don't like her as an actress either.
Why not?
She's not a good actress.
Well, she's a
horrible actress.
She can do underworld tough.
Underworld are horrible movies. Guys in chat, please tell me your feelings of Underworld. Please God, tell me
the first
what you guys think of Underworld.
The first Underworld was really good.
Fuck Underworld.
No, because
all of that shit.
Because the lore of Underworld I liked. It's created by a black dude. Essentially it's the Matrix with vampires and werewolves. I'm totally okay.
We're going back to
plus, no. Let's talk about fucking Underworld for a second, because the ending of one Underworld, the first one is fucking great because you have it's a roller coaster between Kate Beckinsale and the male lead where he is the damsel in distress, right? Then he becomes hybrid werewolf vampire, which is okay, I'm deal, but what's ill about it is that Marcus, played by my man fucking Christmas, like fucking from Love Actually, is the old vampire, and he's just like, yo, why did you motherfuckers wake me up from my sleep? And they're just like, well, things are going bad, sir. And he's just like, okay, am I going to have to fuck up all these dumbass people? And he proceeds to fuck up all these dumbass people. And he only loses because the hybrid werewolf vampire is distracting him. And then Kate Beckinsale's like, I'm going to grab the sword and just cut his head off while he's not looking. And that's how the movie ends. And I'm like, you know what? You know what?
That's how much...
That's
how much we're not trying to talk about goddamn Suicide Squad.
Well, because
he just told us, "You're welcome." If we spoil on.
I mean, Underworld
1,
a movie from like damn near 20 years ago.
Dog, people will fucking yell at you for spoiler warnings for that, like King Arthur and the night like myth or any of that stuff. People be mad at you. Oh, you can't tell me about the Matrix. It came out in like.
Wait, so you're telling me I can't spoil about Indiana Jones?
No. For somebody...
Don't look at the light!
For somebody, they've never seen it, and you're ruining it for them.
Well, that's a damn shame.
It's true. But, okay, after... Okay. After the...
I mean...
I think we just talk about fucking scenes.
Well, because
Starro gets out of, like, the thing. Because apparently the big secret... Okay. The big conflict within the story is that now that they've gotten to where Starro is and they're trying to destroy where Starro is, and, well, they don't even know Starro's in there. But you find out that the American government, American astronauts found Starro in space and, like stupid fucks, brung them into the spaceship to hug and kiss them. And then they got infected with Starro stuff. And secretly the government knew about Starro. And they didn't want to get their hands dirty.
It's Guantanamo Bay.
It's Guantanamo Bay, or more likely like Area 51.
Well, no,
but in
terms of like, you know, it's the ugly American secret in a Latin American country that America is doing its dirty work, but it doesn't want the public to know.
Yeah,
like that's
what Starro is. Basically, ever since they've got him in space and they found out that he can spore people and control them. They have him in Costa, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, they're trying to harness his
They're
power.
trying to harness him. And the scene is really good. Because when they get there, they have, like, people in cages and they always got the Starro thing on them. And they're all like, he fucked me. One of the ladies like, he fucks me! And he gets a look like, yeah, I fucked that. It's like, what the fuck? And it's really creepy. The prosthetic for the Starro on the face looks really good. Yeah. Like, at the time, like, where I told you, like, the Americans found it in space, they show the footage of, like, them. Honestly, the starfish itself looks scary to me. It looked freaky.
Well, because you understand what it is.
And it looks frightening.
I mean, and like...
No, but, like, in reality, you would be afraid of a giant starfish with a giant iris in the front of it.
Because, like, they did a good job, in a sense, with the CGI where...
Yeah, the CGI, I'm trying to say.
It was decent, yeah.
It felt, like, even when it was smaller, it was scarier. Mm. Like, when they first saw the first one and it was just looking in the window, I generally was like, oh, fuck, that's fucking fuck. And then, like, when they brung it in and they showed it, it was like that. It was, like, sitting on the thing, and it was, like, big. And when, like literally they showed the scene where, like, the things come, the small stars come out, and they latch to their faces, and then they showed the one guy who got away and who was taking the camera footage through the glass. And he sees Starro with all of the other ones, like, piled on top of him like this, and then they all look up at once with that one eye from their face and run towards him and then, like, leap towards the screen. It was a good shot. Yeah. It was probably one of my favorite shots in the movie because it was fucking freaky. Yeah. That shit was fucked up. I was like, fuck. Like, I actually got, like, a little, I was like, ugh. Fuck. Because that's the trope of Starro. That control, that zombie, but not zombie.
It's, like I said,
that hive mind.
It's Alien and Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It's Alien in the sense you have the face huggers. Yeah. Right? And then it's Invasion of the Body Snatchers that as soon as you get that face hugger on your face, like, you are no longer you. You are part of a collective. Your individuality is gone. You lost all of your autonomy.
That's the scary part of it.
And like that's like I said, like, you can do a great cosmic horror movie.
That could have been the Justice League movie with Starro
and
alone, because in the comics, Starro is not a one episode or
No.
one book thing.
No, I mean
he's
like,
a thing to be reckoned with.
I mean, and not just that, but like, you know, even in Young Justice, where they use Starro in very creative ways, where like they just had a piece of him, and then they created a technology to control people's minds based off of his DNA. And it's like they got it, and they're just like, and you know, like they're again, there's just like a lot of things about it that was.
They could have done more things, and what they did do, they did. It
wasn't very creative with how they used the source material.
It's true. Even at one point, the government, like the Corto Maltese government, they say, "Oh, we have Starro now," even though they've had them. Apparently, they had them the whole time.
Because like so it was like
a family ran Corto Maltese before the people we know to as run it, and the coup happened, and they got taken over by, I guess, the underlings of those countries.
Yeah.
So basically, the Corto Maltese, the people that originally ran it, were good with the American government, so that's why they held that's why they held Starro there, because they would allow them to. But in terms when the dictators got overran. Now there's this radical faction, and that was like, we have the control of Starro now. We can threaten the world with Starro. What happens? Literally, they have no idea. The general goes, I have no idea what this is, even though they have a scene of them actually looking at Starro. Like, they have a scene of all the government officials like, oh, look at this. We can control the world with this.
I mean, like I said.
And when it comes out, they have no clue.
Well, again,
how are they going to control anything?
Again, like I said, the problem is, you know, if you had it doesn't even need to be a Justice League movie, but like a movie with Starro beforehand, where you can at least establish that, okay, this is not a new threat, so at least people can adapt to it. And people can sort of learn it, and the possibility of that control is there, right? Because that's the other magical thing about DC is that, you know, they will create something new, but then, you know, the universe sort of reacts to it, you know, and
nothing happens in a vacuum.
Nothing happens in a vacuum, exactly. And so that would have worked if we've seen Starro before, but you know. What they've done is that they're playing this really stupid game of, you know, the characters are sometimes ahead of the audience because, like I said,
they do a lot of things with time like that. They do backtracks 8 minutes later.
It's not even the time, like the context of the world. Because you have to remember the context of this world. If this is still supposed to be within the DC movie universe, you know, you had Batman, who's been operating for 20 years in secret, right? All right, so from what we saw, Batman's had Robin. He's lost to Robin. Superman has only been Superman for 18 months, right? And, you know, it doesn't seem like the world is super crazy because, like, they see, like Superman comes in and everybody's like, oh my God, they're aliens.
Apparently at the same time they knew they're aliens because they had Starro.
But that's exactly what I'm saying. Is that like the universe doesn't quite make sense and none of it really jives. And like you can tell that, you know, especially now they're at a point where like, all right, well, we don't really care. It's just whatever the movie's out that, you know,
I felt a lot of times I felt like that we don't really care. We're just gonna move on with this movie.
Well,
a lot of it felt that way.
But that's kind of what happened because it's like, you know, they're sort of they're writing character decisions that within the context of the world that they're in make no sense. Outside of the fact that it's like, okay, well, I need this character to do this to keep my movie going.
Yeah, there's a lot of it felt like, okay, now this. So, like, I don't know, pick up from where I left off. After Starro, after basically they got to where Starro is and they saw all the Starro people.
They're like, okay, well, let's have the chip and notify the public, and then Peacemaker was like, well, I'll kill every man, woman, and children.
Let's go over that. Rick Flag, as they find out this information that the U.S. government was aware of Starro. Rick Flag, out of anyone, says, I want to take this information that we found and put it out to the public because the public has the right to know.
Well,
but it's like this is a secret organization. No one knows about Star Wars.
Well, not just that, but within the context of his character, he is a black. One and like beforehand, he was this black ops fucking operator. He witnessed Amanda Waller kill a bunch of people. Like he was fucking the Enchantress with all the terrible shit that she was doing, and so like. The establishment and like just he was involved in the Suicide Squad to begin with.
Yeah.
And so like his sort of morality is already
been kind of defined.
And where it's like he's not necessarily a good guy. He's very much more black and white, and he's an honorable person. But he also like he understands that for the American security. I mean, he's a soldier, so
he understands.
He understands that America has to do dirt to protect his people. Like that's something he understands. So it's like his reaction to, all right, Star Wars.
Oh my God, the government's doing underhanded
bad
shit.
Stuff.
Oh my God. Oh my God, I can't believe that the government would know about aliens and not tell anyone.
And, well, like, not just that, but, like, in the content, like, what he says in the scenes, like, oh, I spent my whole career doing this, and, like, I can't believe they're, like,
I can't believe they're experimenting with an alien.
I feel betrayed that they're, fucking over this other country to like better my country, and it's just kind of like
you were doing that this whole time,
like exactly, like
and then like John Cena's character, which I only feel was there because of this conflict. He goes, well, I'll eat if the beach was full of dicks to you know what? Why did they ever say that why was he in jail?
I don't know.
Like, why was he in jail at all? Why John Cena, this guy who's supposed to be this patriot, all he keeps talking about is patriots. I'll kill every man, woman, and child if it meant freedom.
I mean, yeah.
And it's like, so why were you in jail? You were like a bad guy? You don't sound like a bad guy. You sound like a soldier.
Yeah, I don't know.
And he portrayed himself as basically a soldier. And I found that funny. They gave him the same description that they gave to Bloodsport.
Yeah, the exact same.
And he's like, "Yo, are you kidding me? That's the same shit I do." He said, "But I do it better."
Yeah, it was a joke. Like, again, like, everything.
So literally now at this point, it's Rick Flag versus I don't even know what his name was. Peacemaker. It was Peacemaker and him, and they have and honestly, I think this is like a wrestling trope. When you get a wrestler, now we're gonna be doing some wrestling moves. We're gonna do some choke slams. We're gonna do some pitfalls. We're gonna do some drop kicks.
Look, so like how can I get this? Like,
if you got Bruce Lee, you're gonna make him.
I was about to say, I was like, yeah, if you get Jack Nicholson, he has to raise his eyebrow. Like, there are certain things that like, why wouldn't you do?
Yeah, and in this genre,
and again, why I say like.
What did you think about that fight scene?
It was generic. Like all the fight scenes were generic. Like there's,
I think almost.
Honestly,
Harley Quinn having like the most excellent aim to the point where she is doing like equilibrium style. Well, like again, she's like bong 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 bong. Like one shot, one kill, everybody.
All of the fight scenes were extremely generic. Like honestly, I don't remember any of them. Not like what I remember.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember Harley Quinn's fight scene. I remember the flowers. Like I remember,
I remember some stuff. I remember because it was so absurd. Like she's fighting in the bullpen of the police station with guns all around on all the shelves. There's people carrying handfuls of rifles. I don't know if you carry handfuls of rifles like that even if you were at work, because she picks up one right off the ground and checks if it was loaded, and it was absolutely loaded. He had like 6 in his arms walking down, and everyone had knives in their hands. Well, again, it didn't even give a good example. Let's put it this way. We put that whole thing, because again, there's these cages with guns and the people are in there. And there's people in the hallway.
Well, see, but this is the thing, right? Because if you choreograph a good fight scene, those things you're able to forgive because they're going to entertain you with the fight scene. And
but even a good fight scene would make it, like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, a good fight scene would go, like, okay, there's cages with guns, but, like, only one guy has the key. And she knows who got the key, and, she keeps keeping him away from anybody to get the key. And there's, like, this good fight where it's she's fighting to keep you away.
Like, a really good fight scene will tell a story within the fight scene. There was no story to be told there.
There was no reason why they didn't all pick up guns and shoot her. And the problem is that, like, you assume since they're cops they would have guns, but now you reinforce that there's guns everywhere.
Well,
why did you reinforce that there's literally guns on the floor, guns right behind these people, and then they pull out their knives?
Like I said, it's bad choreography. Like that's what
it feels like some A-Team shit.
Like I mean,
okay, the A-Team, Mr. T's just gonna run up and punch a dude that has a Gatling gun.
Well, no, I mean, because like, but the thing is, like the A-Team, you know, for the A-Team, you're along for that ride. You know, and like they build everything around the show for you to forgive. Yeah. Of course, Mr. T, like, yes, B.A. Baracus is going to run up and punch a dude in the face that has a Gatling gun. Yes, that's what you want to see. Because the entire episode is going to be geared to that moment for him. Yeah. You know, whereas, like, this was just like, okay, this is Harley's scene, but, you know, the fight scene wasn't that good. Like I said, like, what do you remember the faults of it, and you remember the flowers. You don't remember the scene like, oh, well, you remember when she did that dude, like, she got that guy in that lock, and then she's flipping around and, like, turned the table. Like, no, there's nothing happens. She just comes in, she shoots some dudes, and she does the, strikes a pose, and then walks off.
I think the best thing about it was, her scene was when she's getting tortured. And, like, she like, passes out because the guy is stun gunning her, and, of course, you guys know, like, Harley Quinn, like, been, like, shock therapy. Joker's been torturing her with electricity for forever, so she eats all that shit up, but she tends to pass out. And she catches the guard in the leg lock and, like, climbs up the rope and, like, basically hangs him. And then, like, picks up the key with her feet and, like, flips over backwards and unlocks the lock with her feet. That was like, I like that scene. That was a good scene, and that was a good Harley Quinn scene. But I also noticed that, like, they took away kind of Harley's joy. Because, like, as these scenes where she's, like, just... like Terminator style, walking down these hallways to these next scenes where she's killing people. Usually, she probably like skipping or like fucking like.
I mean, yeah, like I said, they weren't well choreographed. Like they just
even
weren't.
in the Harley Quinn movie, they were more Harley.
Yeah, like I mean, because those
like
are
the fight scene in the
police officer,
the lockup.
I mean, because like you know that scene is well choreographed. There's sort of. There's a little mini story that they're telling where
and there's a reason why they're not all like have guns like drawn on her like immediately.
I mean not just that, but like you know within that you know she has a direct goal that she's trying to get to within that. She's trying to get to the girl with the jewel, and she's breaking in and like she kind of like, all right, well I'm not necessarily gonna kill these guys because I know that's gonna get me in super trouble, but I'm like. You know, it then becomes a vehicle for, you know, her walking around with a grenade launcher full of fucking party favors and glitter. And it's just like, it's this whole kaleidoscope of things. And like,
I felt they tried to recreate that in this with the flowers.
They did, but like,
I always felt that it was like an homage, like that's Harley Quinn's style.
Yeah.
Like, so when this happens, like, when she goes into her Batman rage mode, it's like flowers.
Yeah, and like
I can imagine if if another Arkham game came out and like it's like Arkham Knights when she starts getting into that mode, it's like do. It's like flowers start fucking.
Like which again, it's an interesting character thing, and like you know, and like the part of my issue also with it is that like they play with the perspective of the characters, right? Where, like you said, you see Polka Dot Man, how he sees everybody as his mother. But within the context of his character, it doesn't make sense. Because he says, like, I use my powers and I imagine that it's that's my mother. So it's like, if that was the case, then you should be trying to kill everybody with the things that you sort of
and not only that, but it didn't make sense because if that's the case, then, like, you should be, like, because at first I thought it was, like, more of a metaphor, like because he hated his mother so much that's how he gets past murdering people, that he imagines them as his mother to get past that point. But I always feel it's more like, okay, I put my mind in that mindset, like that's my mother, not like I literally see you and you're my mother. Like I almost felt like it was part of a curse or something. Like he was like he literally sees his mother everywhere he goes. Like Again, the Polka Dot Man, and I think it was the only other person that came off pretty decently in this movie. And I knew they were going to try to do that with his character just because of what the character is.
Well, I mean...
They wanted to do something subversive with such a character because that's what you can do with such a unicorn of a character. It's like, oh, this character is so obscure. But like, DC reference, we got to do it.
But that's, like...
It's cliche.
But no, it's not that it's cliche, but it's like, no, you do that with each one of them.
They didn't do that with almost anybody.
No, they didn't.
And then let's get to the next part. Basically, at the end, we didn't mention Ratcatcher 2 at all because she was nothing in this movie.
She doesn't do anything.
She was the token girl,
like,
which is upsetting because they could have actually gotten somebody or even beefed up her character more. She's just this French waif that never thought nothing bad, and she just stole. What was her? She stole something. That's why she was in it.
I don't know. She was sleeping.
And they never explained why they chose her.
No, they didn't explain why they chose anybody outside of Rick Flag saying, "I want Bloodshot at some point because guns." And
that's sad. Like no one had a chance. There was no even a reason for anybody. It's like, oh well, you're here because you're. They said King Shark was there because he was the toughest guy on the team. But
they just said he was the toughest guy. Which they finally showed it, but it didn't it wasn't like, okay, King Shark, can you distract all the guards and run around here so we can covertly get in? There was nothing. They literally they didn't even sneak into the facility.
They pull up to the front door
and it just starts.
It's so
raining.
weird. Like literally, they pull up to the base. And they're all just hiding behind the seats in this big panel van with these big glass things, and no one looks inside.
Well, not just that, but okay, I'll suspend my disbelief that they infiltrate it like that.
But as soon as they go in, there's blinding rain.
But not just that, but they do that and then they just get out 20 yards away from all the guards.
When they come out with full gear and pads on, I was like, where are they? Where are they right now?
Yeah, because
they're in the middle of a base. No one sees this.
Yeah, exactly. We're just wait, but you
and they're just making jokes in there and stuff. And I'm like,
and it's you've already established.
You kidnapped this guy. There's no guns on him. He's literally just driving the van.
You didn't kidnap him.
Dog, the guy with the things in his head. He didn't. He wasn't volunteering that shit.
Yeah, no, you're right.
They kidnapped him, and they have him driving in, and I guess that's why they don't search the car. That's what I figured. But it's an open panel van, and there's a giant shark man in the back.
No, again, like I said, I get it. Okay,
they get in.
They get in.
They get in.
But it's not. But it's not even okay. They get in and then they sneak off. They just
start shooting people.
They just get out of the car. So it's just wait. So what was the point of this plan again?
You could have shot everyone from the door.
Yeah, if you're and again the rain where it just turns into
it rains and then the background of it is white, pure white. Yeah. So it looks like people are standing in front of a backlight, and I'm saying, I was saying to myself, whose power is this?
Yeah,
who's doing this? It was clear, and then there's downpour to the point where I don't know. Is side effect of heavy rain whiteness?
I guess so.
I'd be afraid as shit if I walked outside and it rained and then it became white behind me.
I guess Porto Mato, that's what happens. I guess
you get that white rain. That rain that obscures all vision.
Well, yeah, exactly. You can't see nothing. Oh, it happens.
But basically, they get to where Starro is and they're blowing everything up, and apparently they set off the explosives too soon.
Well, no, so it's an accident, I guess.
It's an accident because they dropped the explosives. No, and then the fight happens, and they during the fight they spark the explosives, and this happens because it's staggered. There's a fight. There's they're having this whole monologue.
Well, it's
with Starro.
Well,
and then explosions happen.
Well, it's dumb because Rick Flag and Peacemaker are fighting, and then all of a sudden the building just starts to collapse. And at this point, as the audience, you're just okay, we
figured that the explosives are just going.
Well, I mean, to me, it's okay, we know that the other team is
blowing shit up.
It's planting the explosives, but it's okay, you would assume that the plan is to leave the goddamn building before you set off the explosives. I
assume because there's a bunch of stupid motherfuckers on the team that King Shark did something and tripped some shit.
But again, it's it happens that
King
you're
Shark's
just
almost every role thing King Shark did was useless. After everything's going on, and that's guys. It seems like we might be talking like out of turn or anything, but the movie is played like that. Like things just happen. King Shark just walks into a room as all this shit is multiply happening.
Actually, he walks into a floor of like an aquarium.
It's like an aquarium, and I guess because since the original family or the guy had the birdhouse and everything, and
no, because we're in the secret fucking military.
Oh my god! But
and I guess these are jellyfish.
They're aliens. They're aliens.
Well, we don't know that.
They're aliens.
I mean,
those are aliens.
You can assume
they had eyes. They had teeth at the bottom.
Well, no, the thing is, like, again, if this is what kind of disappoints me of the movie and the world at large. This is DC. It could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a magic thing. Because they've already established magic exists in this world. Yeah. It could just be something from the deep.
But basically, he's like running around the room and they're like chasing him and they're all these multicolored squid aliens. And it's like it has nothing to do with anything. Yeah. And it's like his scenes had nothing to do with anything.
Because they end up trying to
attack him and shit.
And like I thought, I was like, oh, that's his death. That's okay.
I thought, when they went under the water and it's like a big spurse of red.
Like okay, that's his death. And it's like no, I'm like.
It didn't mean anything. And I thought, and like the first thing I seen when they all start to swarm him, like I'm like, oh shit. And then like Harley Quinn's running over him, like you're running over there.
Yeah, it's like.
Those things are like gonna murder you. I mean, if one of them got to you, and he's King Shark, and they're like ripping the flesh off of King Shark, who has like shark skin.
Yeah, like
he's taking full blown full clips of AKs, and it's ripping into him.
Again, it didn't make any sense.
And he's fine.
And the scene had zero consequence. Like the things, like he falls off the goddamn.
He falls off a building, maybe like 40 feet, and there's no he rolled.
Well, you figure like, okay, well then that's his death. And it's like, okay, no, I guess, okay,
and then half the army is standing over King Shark with AK-47s shooting him to the point where they all stop to reload.
Yeah, they're
not only do they do this, but King Shark gets up and he's so frightening. I guess the entire army that are like 20 feet away from him are afraid, and they watch him eat like a man, like eat his whole face. And it's gross and grotesque, and he's looking, they zoom in on his face in King Shark's mouth, and it's looking around. And he's just eating it, and they don't do anything.
Again, like I said, the gore. Like that's...
They don't do anything. The whole army doesn't do anything. When the building is falling down, they have to show that a piece of the building is falling right near the soldier's foot, and then he moves. Like, it's so weird the way they make people act. Starro basically breaks out now, and is like... He's taken over the scene where it's Starro and like it's the army that is trying to kill the Suicide Squad. They get taken over by all the Starro aliens.
Like they don't even try and kill the Suicide Squad.
They don't even try to kill the Suicide Squad. All these thousands of flying starfish fly on every other person except for these 4 people. And literally one of the Starro people turns around and goes, "This city is mine," and literally Punk's fucking Bloodsport like shoulder bugs him as they walk away. A giant starfish and a fucking army of people, all commanded by Starro, and they all start walking away from the Suicide Squad and commencing to kill and destroy city. Starro, again, like we say, in his nature, wants to connect everyone through his eyes because they connect to him. He wouldn't kill all these people, and he would fucking give them the Starro shit. It's like Alien. The aliens are trying to get more aliens by putting the thing on your fucking face.
Yeah.
He's crushing people and smacking cars and like smacking people in half. And they even show in like small parts. Like I don't know if you noticed, but when he's like smacking the buildings, you see like little people getting like flung and shit.
Because I mean, again, it's the point of the scene isn't to really establish Starro. It's like this is ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's the point. Which again, in that in itself, I don't have a necessarily issue with it, but it's just within the context of everything. It's just like this is
why?
It's the wrong.
I kept
time
saying
for this.
why.
Because this movie.
I kept saying why, and oh no, don't do that.
Because this.
I said like, oh, don't do that a couple of times. And I wasn't talking about the movie, but I was talking about the direction.
No,
or what they were gonna do.
No,
like I could tell, like, oh, director, please don't do that.
It's all direction, and like it seems like.
This whole movie is don't do that. Don't do that. You're not gonna do that. That's not coherent. Don't do that. But it kept happening.
Well, the director kind of had no.
Reverence.
Reverence is the right word, but it's not the word I want to use. But yeah, he doesn't.
He gave no fucks about DC.
He gave no fucks.
He gave no fucks about DC canon or any of that.
And whether
he wanted to make a funny action movie.
Yes, and like whether he knew or didn't know. I don't
it almost
know,
felt like Idiocracy type movie. Like you wanted to dumb down the more important aspects of it because you can have dumb characters like how they had in the Squad.
Well,
but you can't have Amanda Waller acting like this. You can't have the people around Amanda Waller second guessing her.
The thing was, it's not just dumb characters. It's a dumb movie. Like it's a dumb movie.
Well, let me put it this way. Starro gets eaten by rats because we kept fucking Ratcatcher 2 here just because nothing. She could.
It's because, a Hollywood movie has to mandate that, the bad guy has to die in the end. And, it's a relatively clever way to have Starro being eaten by rats. Cause that is,
it was so gross. I had to turn her away because she summons all these rats, thousands and thousands and thousands of rats, which I could believe. In a what you call it city, not only a what you call city, but
any city
or any city. Yeah. And it was you could see there's jungle. There was terrain around. So it's thousands and millions of rats, and they're climbing up Starro. And I guess they're killing all the people, which is it was just horrifying because they were just regular people. You were seeing kids and
again, within the context of the movie, if you get the Starro,
you're dead.
You're dead. So they're all dead anyway.
Yeah. So these rats kill the entire army, even though they're sentient. They should have the guns or anything else, but millions and millions of rats, you're not stopping that. So they climb up Starro and they go into his eyeball. The rats, Harley Quinn jumps into Starro's eyeball, which is fucking gross. It looks so gross. And you see the rats start to swim in his eye goo, and I'm like no, I don't want to see this, no. And they start swimming towards his eye pustules and his little veins in his eyes, and he's starting to rip it. I'm like, oh my god! Oh my god, I don't want to see this. And it's they're digging into his fucking cornea in the back. I was like, please God, I don't want to see them pan out to see his giant fucking eye disgustingly blood. And of course they did. It was so grotesque. I didn't want to see it. And it's the rats fucking kill Starro. The Conqueror gets murdered by a million rats.
Again,
billions of rats.
That is,
and I can't say that it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, I was about to say, in defense of DC,
that could happen.
That could happen.
And Starro would absolutely be grass.
We've seen that happen. We've seen a whole world being eaten by rats.
I've seen worlds eaten by rats.
But within the context of that story, what did the heroes do? They looked out their spaceship and we're getting the fuck out of here.
Karate Kid was eaten by rats.
We can't save this world.
The Karate Kid was eaten by rats.
Because you know what? We're not the Justice League. We're Animal Man, Starfire, and fucking
Adam Strange.
Yeah. We're not qualified to save this world.
No, I'm not going on Rat World.
We gotta keep
Rat World Prime. No, that's gone.
So I mean. And
Starro would have, and he's a giant starfish. Yes, if he was there and they were there, he probably would have died. But his psychic ability probably would have been able to knock the rats off.
Well, to me, it's
they made him more of a physical thing.
Yeah, you can. To me, it's you can definitely write a story where it ends that way. But I would sort of. Definitely make it a younger Starro that's not not really fully aware of what it is. But within this story, they kind of established that it is kind of sort of Starro the Conqueror,
and it didn't even feel like Starro was the villain of this movie. He came so late into it that you could say he was the villain, but in reality, who is the villain?
It was the MacGuffin.
I guess the only real villains are maybe Peacemaker. And Amanda Waller was so dumbed down in this movie. I can't say she was the villain. They oversaw literally the Suicide Squad is like, all right, we're gonna stop Starro, and Viola Davis or Amanda Waller is like, oh, get the box, we're gonna kill everybody, and she's like flipping the switch, I'm gonna kill all the Suicide Squad because they turned around, and even though they're expendable. And again, they would die from Starro anyway. I still want to stop them from dying from Starro.
I mean,
even if they killed them. And honestly, I thought it was a joke how she was like, "Oh well, this is just a problem for them. We don't got to worry about it." Like honestly, I was like, "Is that a joke?" Like Amanda Waller does so much stuff, counterintelligence, counter strikes to keep everything away from America. You think a giant star that controls anybody that can shoot fucking things from that he can do unlimitedly? You don't think that's a global threat, Amanda? You're gonna tell them to just walk away from this?
I mean, again,
and literally that is what she did. No, it's a dumb movie. Literally was. That's okay. You're done. Yeah. She's about to kill all of them, and a subordinate of Amanda Waller. Not even the three that were actually around the whole time. Another black woman who was in the background hits Amanda Waller with a fucking golf club and says, "Fuck that."
Again,
they don't even show any repercussions of that.
If it was you're done, we've called in the big guns, and you see
it would have been different. It would have been somebody higher up than her. Like Amanda, you overstepped your bounds on this.
No, you can definitely have Amanda Waller say, all right, no, Suicide Squad, you are my covert team. We have no more evidence leading back to America. Now let America come in and be the heroes of this thing and get ahead of it, and we can also get our property back. So you if Amanda Waller did that and called in Captain Atom. Yeah, he's a military man,
and he would have done it without question. That would have been amazing if Captain Atom came in, and it would have been Captain Atom versus Starro, or he nuclear waved that motherfucker.
You can do that in the background, and Captain Atom is because the focus of this story is Suicide Squad, so you can sort of have that in the background,
and it has nothing to do with them.
Exactly, and you
walk away. That's what I'm saying. The Superman thing, calling Superman Starro, and he just Superman at the end just punches Starro into space, and then the Suicide Squad goes, I don't give a fuck anymore. Yeah. Superman's got it. Fuck that guy. Yeah, I'm out of here.
It's not my...
I would have been okay with that.
Yeah, it's oh, do I get my 10 years off my sentence? Good.
Get me the fuck out of here.
Again, they're villains.
But they did. They gave him the superhero ending. Yeah. They gave him the walk off. Even the post credit scene, which wasn't even a post credit scene, is nothing. You think that the Weasel is dead, and he gives up and walks away.
He was sleeping for 2 days.
And that's it.
But yeah. So, it was disappointing. Our fears and nightmares came true.
My fears and nightmares came true. It was a movie with no substance whatsoever that wanted to have everyone have a good time with no explanations. And I think they failed on both parts. I think they failed on entertaining me, and they gave no fucks about the material they did it with. Yeah. And it felt like they literally went, okay, listen, we're making this in the height of me making Guardians of the Galaxy. So my mindset is there. So are you guys okay with this?
Well, just that this is what I do, and this has been successful. Look at it. And it kind of feels like, they're just give me some of that Guardians.
I gotta see some IMDb. I gotta see the IMDb for it right now.
What for
this? What's the IMDb rating for Suicide Squad?
PG-13. Here's a summary from less than B greater
PG-13?
than IMDb, less than B greater than. Suicide Squad was supposed to be DC's entry to rival Marvel's R-rated Deadpool.
Do Suicide Squad 2.
It was 2. said B too. Something dumb. It's 77%. I don't know where that's on. I don't know. I can't tell any of this stuff. I don't look at Metacritic stuff. I don't really give a flying fuck about it. But I just kind of want to see where everyone's gauges it at it now. But 77 out of 7. 7.7 out of 10. So, I mean, I don't know. Rotten Tomatoes. What is the Rotten Tomatoes score? I hate looking at that site. I don't give a fuck about that. What is Suicide Squad 2's Rotten Tomatoes score? Oh, get the fuck out of here.
Continue without disabling.
Where? Yeah, an 86 rating and a 92. Like, I mean, it's that scene right there. Man, there was a lot of bullshit scenes. Like, just scenes where, like, people were just standing around with guns while, like, a theme song played. Like, yeah. I'm Rick Flag. I'm Idris Elba. I'm John Cena. With, like, a hilarious walking around in his tighty whities and his dick is, like, bulging out of this shit. You actually see dick in this movie and, like, a half a titty. Come on, man. If you get to see titties, give me a nice pair of titties, man.
Well, you don't even get to see the nicest pair of titties in a movie.
You're right. But you saw 2 dongs.
Yeah.
So
with 2 dongs down.
I give it 2 dongs down. Would I recommend this movie if you're that type of person that maybe like Suicide Squad, maybe like Guardians of the Galaxy. This might kind of scratch your Guardians of the Galaxy itch. But I don't know if you're looking for any really kind of substance, I wouldn't really say this is where you could go. I think this movie was riding off the coattails of we might want to try to do the Marvel formula.
Yeah. And
I think this is a bad example of trying to do it.
Yeah.
I really hated what they did here. I think the fact of the matter is when you have a movie with this many characters and you have a director like James Gunn, like you had to try to do more than what this did. This was trying to be like a sitcom more than a movie with over-the-top gore. The gore in this movie was heavy, but to sit there and go, like, there was nothing I can say. We've been trying to have this whole conversation. We've been talking for an hour and 41 minutes about this fucking movie, and I still can't give you a timeline of what coherently fucking happened. It's fucking not great what they did with that.
The movie's an and then. That's what happens.
And then Harley Quinn gets out, and then they tried to save Harley Quinn. But look, Harley Quinn saved herself, and she's already at the rescue when they're rescuing her. And like, they don't even cut out the scenes where you would cut out like all the middleman. Like the scene, I was waiting for it to end when she gets out from saving herself, and then she sees like Rick Flag. Oh, they're trying to save me, and then the joke is that she goes behind them like, "What are y'all doing?" She's like, "Oh, I'm trying to save you." End the scene!
Yeah.
No! He has to come off the road. He has to go, that we had a good plan.
No,
there was a lot of like
if you were I wouldn't say good director, but and again, I'm not like, but like where I think you would end that joke is Harley Quinn comes up, right, has her beat, says, "What are you guys doing?" You know, Rick Flag
maybe reaction shot
does a double take, and then he sells the joke in his face, and then you cut to they're in the car.
No, that scene lingered like a fucking fart, bro. It stayed in the air like a fart.
Yeah.
Like literally, it's like Idris Elba has to come down, and he has to. You're literally seeing Idris Elba like rewrap his fucking his kit that he did it with, and Rick Flag's like, "Oh, we had it." Stop! End the scene! Yeah. There's a lot of scenes in this movie where it's like, stop, we get it, we got it, you did it. Stop lingering. It almost felt like he gave them ad-libs afterwards, like, keep going with that scene.
I think
give it a chance. Like, I would almost guess that was ad-libbed. Like that little scene when she walks up, like, what are you guys doing? And he's like, because the answer was, we were trying to get you, and you were trying to get me.
It's like
these forced relationships. She's like hugging Rick Flag, like, where did it... There was more relationship between Will Smith and Harley Quinn than Rick Flag and Harley Quinn. Deadshot purposely missed Harley in the fucking fight. They looked like they were about to fuck. In the cartoons, they do fuck. Deadshot and Harley Quinn do fuck.
I mean,
Rick Flag has nothing to do with Harley.
And I think part of that is that, Will Smith and Margot Robbie do have an on-screen chemistry together. Like,
they do have a chemistry.
Did you ever see that movie where, like, they're just, like, fucking each other, like, the entire goddamn thing? And the two thieves?
Yeah.
Like, that movie is not very good, but just the chemistry between those two, you're like, yeah, you know what? I would like to see those two fuck. Like, yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Like, okay, you guys are just going to be, like, dressing sexy the entire movie, and it's just going to be about, like, you guys, like, trying not to fuck, but, like, trying to fuck the whole time?
Yeah.
All right.
And I mean, like, and that's the thing. Like, this movie was just a big, like, things happen. Michael Rooker came to the team, he looked around, everyone was dying, and he ran away, even though he was a tough guy, and he's, like, running, screaming into the water, and he had his head blown up.
It's subversive.
They tried to subvert everyone's expectation of things, but the subversiveness was so transparent that it wasn't subversive.
Well, yeah, to me, like, it only works if you set up.
Because the whole thing, Team B is on the other side. The only thing I figured was Team B was going to come right after that. Like, I didn't expect it to be like, oh, they did a flanking maneuver. I was just like, okay, they threw that first meat thing, and it's like, okay, we thought the movie was going to be these dudes. They got eaten in a meat grinder. Yeah. Next team up was the other dudes, like King Shark, and that's just the next team. Go ahead. Now you get to go. Yeah. Like, those dudes died. They all died, and Michael Rooker, like, ran into the ocean, and we blew up his head. You guys go. Like, that's what happened to the last team. Now it's your turn. That's the only thing. It wasn't that. It was like they did it at the same time. That was the only thing that I thought was shocking. Because, like, the first time when you see it and it's like King Shark's not there, it's like, okay, well, King Shark's there. I know King Shark's in this movie.
I mean, like, you're just going
so
on
those guys are dead. We obviously know those guys are meat.
I mean, you knew from the beginning that these guys were going to die. And, like, to me, it was like, okay, how are you going to
And they didn't even do it well.
They didn't. Like, they just got shot in the face, which was just like, well, that's...
Yeah.
I mean, it's a choice. But...
So I guess let's try to wrap this up a little bit. Give me your thoughts of the movie in a general sense.
I mean, again, I think James Gunn does make fun movie. It's just he's not good for the particular the context of the movie, and I'm not going to say what the movie should be, or even could be, because that's not a fair statement. But considering that if you're trying to sort of build these interconnected movies, and even if you're not building these interconnected movies, one hand it's really disjointed, and even as a self-contained movie, if you're trying to,
it's not coherent.
It's not coherent. So, like, whether that's the editing or what, but it's something that did not come together.
I can imagine this having, like, a director's cut that makes more sense.
I mean...
Like, it almost feels... And I don't feel they did it in this movie, but I feel like they edited out a lot of stuff that would have made more sense.
I mean, there could have been a lot of character work that, they edited out.
Yeah, because it feels like they keep referencing things like, oh, yeah, he's my friend, too. It's like, where did that happen?
When did that happen?
Like, when he said it out loud, Idris Elba, when finds out that Rick Flag is dead, the reaction of the fucking rat catcher was more of a reaction than it was from... And I think the rat catcher and Rick Flag had the least amount of contact, period.
Yeah, and
I don't think they actually talked to each other.
I think part of the...
She was talking to Amanda Waller. She never talked to him.
I think my
she
issue...
was devastated. She's crying.
And I guess my issue also is that they didn't do enough also to distract you. So, like, and again, unless your thing is just gore and viscera...
And wasn't enough of it.
To me it was too much, to be honest. Like I said, within that... No, because, like, to me...
There was, like, a tidbit here, tidbit here.
Like, for me, like...
offline again.
That's weird.
What the fuck?
We're back on. So, like, to me, like, gore and comedy is not something that mixes well with me. Because, like, like sort of the devaluing of the human sort of body is something that, you know, within movies it just doesn't hit me right. Like, I don't necessarily mind the death and whether that's, you know, you can have a whole philosophical debate about what that says about me and, you know, media in general, but I don't necessarily gain any entertainment or value from the gore just for the gore's sake. Like, you know,
well,
like,
sometimes I do. Like, that's why you know, the fascination with like Mortal Kombat and stuff like that. Like, that's like pure viscera.
But like, I'm not a big fan of Mortal Kombat. Like,
I understand what you mean.
So like,
and I also like the violence in terms of how it makes a statement on the action. Like, this is serious.
Well, like, yeah, like
that dude got his head cut in half, like, sideways, like a cantaloupe.
Again, like there's like there are times when it works where it
makes a statement, or like, because like when King Shark rips the guy in half and it's his silhouette with like lightning behind it, well, it meant nothing.
Yes, exactly.
It was nothing. Like, it was a random nothing.
Exactly. Like, if you're gonna use the violence to push home a point, whether it's or push home an emotion, whether that's, you know, the terror, the fear, or, you know, just like the savage violence of the character, that's something, because it's serving more than just the violence for violence sake.
Yeah.
And you know, don't get me wrong, I like violence for violence sake, but it also has to be. But
it's
like,
fantastic.
But like, you know, it's also not just, you know,
$20 to somebody tell me what that reference is from.
Well, you referenced it wrong.
No, war. It's fantastic.
War is fantastic.
Yeah, the violence.
But it's you know, it has to serve something more than just the violence in itself. And and for me, if it's violence for violence sake, like a kung fu flick is violence for violence sake. But it's like, there's a lot of work and like there's almost
things behind the scene that makes it.
I mean, yeah, there's
more than just the violence.
Exactly. Like, you could see
even the story around it is always there's always something. There's always, guys, if you don't watch them like that, there's still stories in kung fu flicks. Well, they're usually pretty like serious stories.
Well, not just that, but like the fight scenes are a story within the story.
It's true.
You know, and like the best fight scenes, they're telling a story.
So, I mean, again, like, we keep going to different things other than talking about the movie, because it's like, so blah.
Yeah, there's exactly.
Things happen.
Things just happen in that movie.
And Starro is in it. And that was cool. And I got to see giant Starro spit out 1,000,000 little Starros. Yeah. And they all flew around the sky and they fell on people's faces. And it was like a White Walker moment where they all fell down at once. And then they all got up with the eyeball. It looks super cool. It is creepy. But that was the only part of the movie I was like, oh, that's cool.
But like, what makes me sad is that now
Starro's done.
Is wasted.
He's going now.
Like, if someone,
you can't use it anymore.
I mean, you can, but it's
not. Well, maybe
like,
they one of those stars were alive, and now we kept it alive.
No, like, regardless, even if someone decided to do their own thing completely, you know, you don't have that element of surprise anymore. You don't have, like, there's.
But then again, now it is established of what he can do. So if that's put onto a grander scale, like, let's say something like how in happened.
I'm just saying.
Let's say something like Justice League. Oh no, not Justice League. Batman v Superman. Like, how they brung back Zod into Doomsday, bringing back like a Starro.
You can bring him back. What I'm saying is that, you know,
but you know how dangerous the situation would be.
But what I'm saying is like they wasted an opportunity to really shock it. Like, the first time, like, and I know you're not big into horror movies, but like the first time you see a face hugger from Alien.
No, that was a creepy moment.
Like, but that's what I'm saying. It's like the first time that full surprise of the audience of what Starro can do.
Yeah.
And like the effect you could, like,
dread that puts on like a narrative.
Like, exactly, like the effect that a good story and filmmaker can, you know, really milk out of the audience's ignorance of what Starro is and what it can do, and how that can really inform, you know, a movie that they could decide to do. Like, you don't have that on your side anymore. The audience is educated on what Starro is, so even if you bring him back, it's not, what is this, what can they do, it's, oh shit, I at least I saw that Suicide Squad movie. I know what the gist is. I kind of know the rules.
Well, it's bound to happen at some point. There's got to be points of references somewhere.
Yeah, but what I'm saying,
it's got to be somewhere.
But what I'm saying is that instead of the first time you meet Starro, it's the first time you meet Starro. It's at the butt of a bunch of kind of jokes.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, for me, I think this movie was a letdown for me personally because, again, I like the first Suicide Squad movie. If you guys don't know, yeah, that stuff over there, all these, that stuff behind all the sexy girl figures there, those are all comics. I read, like, comics. I'm a comic dude. So, like, when I see them have the potential to do the things they have, having, like, Mongel in there and having Starro particularly, having... Like certain characters,
Mongol,
that's a character that you can have a movie around. Like a Mongol could come, like you have my fucking daughter.
Yeah.
Now you have to deal with War World orbiting your fucking world, and now you gotta deal with Mongo, who is a Titan level villain.
Yeah.
Like, there's things that they could do in this, and even again, as me as a person who's read Suicide Squad comics, I expected things like this. Like, things that happen that are completely out of control, that they cannot handle, and that they're bad guys, so they're not going to really handle it right. I expected those things. But what I didn't expect to come to this kind of disjointed things, where, like, I noticed, like, what's happening. In a lot of movies, I never said, like, what's happening? Why is it raining really hard, and then there's white? Like, it's not just like, oh, it's so rainy that it's hard to see, because you can convey that with having heavy rain to the point where you can't see. Yeah. But they did rain and then made a whitewash.
Like I said,
look at this, guys. It's gonna suck. So close your eyes if you don't. You see that? That's what it was. It was that. Like, it rained and then they just did that behind it, and they just started walking, and it was in broad and it just started like it was white. And there was no explanation for it. Like, I thought there was like, oh, does somebody show their power? Somebody's true power was to turn things white and shit. Like, I don't know. No, I mean, it was weird. And this movie those moments just keep coming. Like, why did this happen? Why did that happen? Oh, Deadshot. And I keep doing that.
Well, because he was essentially Deadshot.
He was essentially Deadshot, but, like, Bloodsport's daughter comes and it's like, I'm in trouble, Dad. Like, even though we don't talk and you know I hated your mother and everything else, I'm gonna go to jail because I stole... There's a lot of these things where it's just like it's almost on, like, a joke thing where it's like the serious situation and somebody would call out something like, you just killed my entire freedom fighter crew. These people died and bled for me. We are freedom fighters for this country. Your whole team killed her. And as she's standing there in shock, she goes, is that mouse over there waving at me? Yeah. And they have a mouse. The rat catcher keeps a mouse on her shoulder. And it's like a friendly mouse. And he looks over and the mouse is going... Well, I mean, and he goes, well, I guess because the mouse is friendly.
Because, again... Like,
and he's like, why would he be doing that?
Well,
and it's like...
I mean, that's a Marvel
That's the audience should be saying that. Not you. This isn't Marvel. You don't do that shit in DC. We don't do that. Like, that doesn't happen. People don't go, like, I state obvious stupid shit and say it as happened. No. And that happened throughout the movie. He's like, are you a werewolf? Oh, shit, it's a fucking werewolf. He's not a werewolf. He's a weasel. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. I mean, he killed 27 kids, but we had him on our team, and we killed people because they killed kids, but no one killed Weasel. Even Michael Rooker went to save Weasel after they said he killed 27 kids.
No, well, we can stop talking about it now.
Can we?
Yeah.
Guys, I give this movie out of 10.
I mean, honestly,
let me be real honest.
After we first talking about it, honestly, like, at first I was like, a 5, and then
I think a 4.
I was actually like a 3.
I think it's a 4 movie.
No, honestly, like,
wait, you're kind of convincing me.
Cause like,
what did I like about this movie? What did I like? I liked Starro. I liked the creep factor of Starro. I liked some of Harley Quinn stuff. And I thought that they tried to make the dotted man something. I was a little happy to see King Shark, but that's such the worst King Shark ever. That is the worst King Shark ever.
Well,
like, how could he be considered a villain after this?
Well,
how can he be considered anything other than a joke Groot character after this?
But, like, I mean,
he can't be a serious bad guy anymore, and he is a serious bad guy for the Flash.
But no, like, none of these people are serious. Like, again, part of the issue with sort of Suicide Squad in this particular iteration is that you don't get to see any of these people as bad guys.
They're not bad guys.
Well, but I'm just saying,
almost like anti-heroes.
But I'm just saying in both,
to the point where they had the rig for the blood sport. Like, I'm leaving. Oh fuck! He even had the shit and turned around.
But like what I'm saying is that like and even in the first one like we didn't get.
Will Smith doesn't get the redemption.
Well,
he does his job and he gets to go home. Gets to go back in the cell.
It's not just that, but it's like you didn't get the Batman vs. Deadshot movie to really establish like, oh yeah, okay, Deadshot's the bad guy, he's a villain. Like, you know, like you get that 5-minute scene of him doing that assassination, and it's like, okay, he's good at his job and he's a villain or whatever. But like, it's a lot of tell, don't show. And some of that is part of the strategy for DC, but like it's also like how, you know, like how they sort of end up trying to tell sort of the stories and rush through some of their stories where it's like you don't have to rush, like you can.
They don't have to rush. It almost felt like how Game of Thrones and it is super rushed for no reason. Like you have the time, you guys can make this movie the way you want it to.
Yeah.
So I would give it a 3. After talking this out, I was gonna say 4, but the things I liked were so forgettable that we just literally walked from my screen room, walked in here. I made a new thumbnail with all my faces on all the characters' names and stuff, and then we sat down and did this. This is not scripted. We didn't write anything. There's no papers anywhere. These were our general feelings. We talked for 2 hours about this. We could probably talk for more about this because this is the kind of stuff that me and Bolo do. We have very big debates on all this stuff. If you guys kind of like this stuff, I don't know. Definitely like and subscribe maybe to Shanghai 20 on YouTube and follow me on Twitch. I don't know. We do this kind of stuff on our phone calls. I was actually trying to make it seem like we could do maybe like a podcast so we can do this because literally we were talking all today about shit that actually could have been on this fucking thing too. But I mean, I felt that they did me dirty in this one. I still like the first Suicide Squad better.
I think the first Suicide Squad had better characterization. I thought this one, like, the energy and intent were there, but the execution was piss poor. And I think it was the wrong type of energy. Like, I wouldn't even say necessarily it was the wrong type of energy, but it just seems like the script was not where it needed to be.
Yeah, and they went, let's go.
At all.
Let's go, let's do it.
Like at all. That felt like it was, you know, literally just a rash of ideas for shots that they just filmed and edited.
All right,
together.
let's go. We got the script, we got the scenes we got to shoot. Let's shoot them.
Yeah.
And we'll put it together in the editor room.
Yeah, and like what I can't sort of forgive about it is just the wasted potential of Starro. And now, if anybody's ever going to do that again, they're going to have to fight this version of Starro to do their own thing. Like, that bothers me.
So, the grade?
3.
Would you recommend anybody watch this movie?
If you like gore and viscera, sure. If you really don't give a fuck about movies and you need a date with your girlfriend or boyfriend,
you could definitely. This is a date movie.
It's a date movie because you can make out through half of it
and look back up and not have worried about missing anything.
Yep, and you
every scene is a fresh scene.
Yeah,
everything is its own thing.
Yeah, and like
and after it's over, it's over.
Yeah, and like you're not really gonna miss much, and even if you don't understand, you're gonna be edited to a new scene, and then you'll have a big giant starfish that hopefully you'll find joy in, because it's ridiculous and those types of
and
things.
it's over the
fun.
top, and that's the kernel of truth that I like about DC stuff.
Yeah, it's
their full retard, their full belief in their product is insane.
Yeah.
Like, you can get giant starfish that attach other starfish to people's faces.
Just the concept of it. A giant starfish from space that shoots out other starfish and, like, controls your mind. What the fuck is that? It's great. But if you are looking for, like, I would say a modern comic book movie where they take not only the tropes of old comic book movies, but are trying to import the trappings of comic book storytelling, which is a long form storytelling, you're not going to get that here.
No. We watched one really good movie today, and that was, again, Batman, Soul of the Dragon.
So watch Batman, Soul of the Dragon.
Batman, Soul of the Dragon.
And Underworld.
No, don't watch Underworld. Fuck Kate Beckinsale.
Why?
This was the movie.
She's like a cheap Mila Jovovich.
This movie was the one to watch. Out of the two movies we watched, this one had Bronze Tiger in it, and the other one didn't, and it didn't make sense.
Pretty English girls in tight latex and leather?
She's like 5'0".
I didn't say she was big. I just said she has a nice face.
She's pretty, but
she's very approachable.
I like a more meaty woman.
I'm not. She's any size and shape is fine.
I don't find her attractive.
Do you want to see someone?
God damn it! No, I don't want to see Underworld.
Do you want to see someone like have werewolves chasing after them and they shoot the floor
I
around
hate
them
you.
in a
Shut
circle
the fuck up.
and they fall through? Because that scene's kind of cool.
Idris Elba fell down 8 floors and didn't break his knees.
Well, he did do that. He did.
Idris Elba fell down 8 floors and hit the floor below it and hit it kept breaking the floor below it.
No, what didn't make sense is that they set up this whole tension before that he's hanging and dangling, and it's like if he's gonna fall, like okay, this is gonna be his death.
He fell 40 feet on his feet.
And he just stuck the landing like a fucking gymnast. It wasn't even like he fell like on his side.
It wasn't even
just
a problem.
It was like,
clean on his feet. Like, nigga, he looked around like, bitch, please.
Okay.
And then fell through 8 floors after that.
Yeah, and then landed right in front of John Cena. So.
Landed in front of John Cena in a perfect position, no talk, he just shoots John Cena.
Well,
they shoot each other, even though they didn't talk or know what the other woman was thinking.
Well, the problem was that, that was the perfect setup for, like, the Old West, gunfight, but they didn't even really set that up right. They didn't use the right cinematography and editing for that. It was just like, 1, 2, and then 3, and it's done. Instead of like fucking doing it like spaghetti western style, where like you got the right here in the face, you got the twitch of the face. They didn't do anything.
They weren't gonna do that.
They didn't do anything.
The most they did was John Cena. Them showing John Cena stabbing Ric Flag in the heart.
Yeah.
And he says,
I guess they did the Mortal
Peacemaker, my ass, and then like dies.
Yeah.
I thought that was stupid.
Actually, yeah, he got stabbed with like a broken piece of ceramic.
Yeah, but like, and again, I thought it was stupid because literally, all he needed to do was get the disc, and literally, that was clever when like Ratcatcher says like, "Yo, you got the disc. Why do you gotta kill me?" It was like, "Cause I'm thorough," and I was like, "What?" Okay. But that's the reason why, like, when Ric Flag, when they broke apart, and Ric Flag, I was like, why does Ric Flag bring out a pipe? Like, just take it and run.
Whatever.
But whatever. Like, again, guys, that's how our thoughts on it.
I'll never have to watch it again.
No, I don't. I think I might watch it one more time, just to try to understand it.
Sure.
But I don't think I'll watch it a third time. This was a disappointment to me and Boa. We wish they would have been better. They wish they would have tried harder, or because the actors felt like they were trying. It just felt like the director was just like, "Yeah, go ahead, you did it. Good job. That's what I wanted." Let's go to the tent. Let's get some food. Margot Robbie, fantastic. Call me later. Get you into another project. I'm out of here. I'm fucking James Gunn. I'm going to do Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and it's going to be this garbage again. It's going to be this kind of garbage. And this movie enforced that he's going to make another garbage-ass Guardians of the Galaxy. I haven't liked any of those movies. When he started doing breakdances against fucking dudes that are like super level villains.
Well,
I'm done.
Are they super level villains?
That dude was a super level dude.
Well,
the dude he first killed.
But like, is he?
He was.
I'm just saying, who cares?
Yeah.
He was blue.
Yeah, he was blue.
He was the small. Anyway, good night, everybody. It's late.
Guys, thank you so much for
kids to
watching.
feed.
He's got kids to feed. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. For anybody come by and check me out. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to Shanghai20 at youtube.com, which I usually stream every day around 9 o'clock. Or also, if you feel like it, follow me on Twitch at Shanghai20 on Twitch. We're trying to get to these 50 subscribers. We're at 25, man. We started a week ago or 2 weeks ago with like 9 subscribers. We're at 25 now, so that's huge. And I really want to say thank you so much for that. It really, really does mean a lot. If you guys like this kind of content, just chat content about movies and stuff and shit like that, definitely let me know in the comments. Tell me that you kind of like this stuff. And me and him could do some more of it. I've been trying to set up some Discord discussions about certain things. If we can sit down and watch the movie and talk about it, and you guys like that, definitely let me know. Yeah, guys, until next time, I mean, I'm not going to go to sleep, so we might actually get a Dota stream later on. If not, you're definitely going to see me tomorrow. But that's been Bolo, and I've been Shanghai20, and that's all we have to say for right now about Suicide Squad 2, even though it's not called Suicide Squad 2.
Good night.
Boo! Boo! That's what I say to you, sir. I say a boo!